Hi everyone, my name is Ike and today I'm going to be talking about some video games. Not just any games, specific genre type games. Some of my favorites growing up. They're not really as popular as they used to be, but they were some of my favorites growing up. Some of the games I was just really good at. And those are light gun games. Now when it comes to light gun games, there's nothing more important than the light gun itself. I mean, they all came with the option to use a controller, but it was horrible and basically took all the fun out of the game. So first up is the Justifier. This one was for the Sega Genesis and all the other attachments such as the Sega CD and 32X. It has a really light feel to it. Definitely a great one of my favorites. The trigger on it's really great. It retracts quickly, and I wish they still made them this good. Next up we have from Namco the GunCon 2, which was also a very good controller. It has this built-in D-pad, very light, worked really well for accurately hitting. It's a bit different than most other guns because it connected through the video cable, and I mean it was kind of a pain to set up, but this one was one of the best out there. Next up is a classic. Here we have the Nintendo Zapper. Here we have the orange version, and this is also the gray version. I mean, this is old school as hell, but mine still work. I have 3 of them. So next up is the Sega Saturn light gun. It's a bit bulky, it's a bit weird, but this is probably my most used light gun. It was basically a clone of the arcade versions for games like Virtua Cop and House of the Dead. Though it's a little bit heavier than usual for a light gun, and it's really weird looking and has a weird feel to it. It was probably one of the best light guns out there. And finally, here's one that I hate. When it comes to light guns, unless you are the maker of the game or the console maker, you should never release a gun. Sega never released an official Dreamcast light gun, and this one was put out by Pelican. I believe either this model or another model that was released off market was considered the official, but I hated this thing to death. It sucked as just a basic light gun. It had this annoying reload trigger, which I also disliked. The actual trigger itself isn't a trigger. It sucks. You need to get some fast shooting going. It's just meant to be held, but I could go on about how much I hate this thing all day. But when it comes to old school gaming, or especially old school light gun gaming, there's only one style that you can pretty much use, and they generally look the best on these TVs, which is just a basic tube non-flat screen. I think CRT is the technical name for it. But yeah, if you have one lying around, don't get rid of it, because there's some games you just can't play without one of these bad boys. And so here's one of my favorite light gun games. It was ported from arcade to the Sega Saturn, and that's Virtua Cop. They made 3 of them. The first 2 were on the Saturn. I don't know if the 3rd one was ever ported, but let's just take some look at the gameplay. Start on beginner. This isn't going to look good, obviously, but basic idea of what the game looks like. Oh, loading. Alright, so next up is another arcade port to the Saturn. I believe it was also on PlayStation. Area 51. It's from Atari. This is another one of my favorite light gun shooters. mixed in that mix of real people and video game, which isn't really used anymore. But in the early days of, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, that's pretty much all the Sega CD used, was trying to mix in basically a movie into gameplay. And of course on the list, House of the Dead for the Sega Saturn. The arcade was awesome. This is one of the last games they released for the Saturn. I heard the port wasn't that great. I got it off eBay. This is like a European edition, but I don't have one of those converters, so I never got the chance to actually play it on the Saturn. It's kind of hard to find as well. They made sequels. The second one on Dreamcast I liked, but I hated the Dreamcast gun so much that I could just not fully enjoy it. But it was still a great game. I know there's more sequels out there, but this one is like the Godfather, and if you ever see it in an arcade, definitely try it out. Alright, so next up on the list is Lethal Enforcers. It was ported from the arcade. This is the Sega CD version. I'm not sure if the first one was ported to the regular Genesis. I know Lethal Enforcers 2 was on the Genesis, but I love light gun shooters. I had a lot of... I'm one of the few people that actually likes the Sega CD. This game really was not anything crazy or anything, but it's got an old school feel to it. It works out great. Alright, so another one of my favorites, unfortunately I can't really show me playing, is a game called Vampire Knight. It was one of the first games I remember playing that was made by Sega and Namco on the PlayStation. It was kind of like House of the Dead, and it was a great game, but I just can't get it to work. And another one of the greatest light gun shooters that I loved was Time Crisis 2, and that's another game. I bought that one used, and it worked for the first level, but then once you got to the second level, it was too scratchy or something to work. But Time Crisis 2 was a great one, and Vampire Knight, I'm not sure many people have heard of it, was a great one, but here's a game called Ninja Assassin. No, Ninja Assault. The concept alone is really stupid. It's just ninjas with guns. But just wanted to show the how good the GunCon 2 worked. It was like a stupid boss, but alright, so another one of my favorites, of course, is Duck Hunt. The light gun's not working as great as it used to, but this was the first light gun shooter I ever played, so I didn't love Duck Hunt. I remember being about 6 or 7 and actually getting to level 100 and having that glitch happen to me. As you can see, this gun maybe I should try out a different one. It's just not what it used to be. Wow, I got that one. I was looking through the camera. But this is the most memorable game in light gun history for pretty much everybody. And that son of a bitch dog always makes fun of you for missing. Alright, so that's just a few of my favorite light gun shooters over the years. I left a lot out. There's a lot that I know I haven't played, but I think I covered my favorites, and most of my favorites are more of the more popular ones. As far console-wise, I only have up to a PS2, and I don't have an Xbox, but looks like for light gun shooters, the few people that are really still into them, looks like Wii is a better choice, but I think I'm going to end up with a 360 when that does happen. So, but yeah, like I said, if there's any games like light gun shooters that you think I should play that I haven't, just put them down there. Later, bye, thanks for watching.